Hello, my name is Glenn Dyer, and you are watching a Dyer-Situation. Today I'm seeing Money Monster. Money Monster. Money Monster. Not sure, not 100% sure what this is. The description it gives me, I got on IMDb is that it's some greedy corporate guy who takes over a company and people are miserable, or maybe he's doing something evil. I don't know. When I think Money Monster, I think like some sort of heavy anti-capitalist thing. Kind of like the thought you get when you first hear the name Wolf of Wall Street, although Wolf of Wall Street isn't really like that either. Like you're just thinking, okay, this is gonna be about a greedy businessman and how money is terrible and everyone should hate it. So, I don't know. That's just the vibe I get from the name, though. It doesn't seem to match the description, but I guess we'll see. Huh. Funny thing is, I think I've seen a trailer for this. Like, basically, once the big action scene happens, like the one in the beginning to really set loose what the premise of the movie was, I realized, I've seen a trailer for this. Yeah. So, for those who don't know, I don't think it's really a spoiler, because if I'm right, the trailer did advertise this as a fact. The movie's really about this guy who hosts a show. It's basically one of those how to invest your stocks shows, which I don't know. And basically this one dude who listened to the show and invested $60,000 in some stock wants to get revenge by going on there with a gun, holding him up, making him strap on a bomb vest, and having them stay on the air so he can tell everyone about how evil and terrible all the people who work with the stocks are, and how he lost all his money. He lost all his money in what was very, very clearly a case of like corporate embezzlement. I mean, like the whole thing is explained as, well, we lost $80 million because our computers glitched up. I'm sorry. So, forgive me if this has actually happened, but that is stupid. So, yeah, he's pissed off about that. He doesn't buy the whole glitch thing. So basically, yeah, George Clooney is the host of the show, and he holds him up. He makes him strap on a bomb vest, and he has like a dead man switch thing going on. So if his thumb goes off, he'll die. And throughout the whole movie, they build a bond and they learn about each other, and eventually they figure out that corporate evil businessman was evil, and they show him a thing or two. To be honest, if I were to compare this movie to anything, it would be something like London Has Fallen. It is a power fantasy. That's a power fantasy. Pretty good. In fact, probably better than London Has Fallen in that, right? Why? Let me just point out why they're both kind of in the same category for me. Power fantasy. Because, really, they're about one lone underdog taking on something way bigger than him, and something like real life in the real world, and something kind of like us taking on the impossible with violence and winning. Right? That's the main thing of power fantasy. It involves violence. usually. Um, so the difference is, like, London Has Fallen is about basically this really pissed off terrorist is killed off all the leaders of the world and is coming after the president. But the president's bodyguard is a badass and he will stop at nothing. And he's gonna stop those terrorists with violence, because he's better than them in spirit. Yeah. And this movie is like, well, there's evil corporate businessman. This young dude is gonna hold up a store and get everyone to hear what he has to say. And that corporate businessman is going down. We're gonna humiliate him. Although I honestly think this is probably better in that right, because London Has Fallen kind of advocates for basically murdering everyone who in your path, anyone who ever wrongs you, including the ones who honestly kind of had a reason to wrong you. I mean, in London Has Fallen, the main terrorist guy is doing this because his whole family was wiped out in a drone strike, which does happen a lot. And so he has a reason, you know, probably not justified for killing hundreds of people in London, but has a reason. And in this movie, the straw man evil CEO guy hasn't really killed anyone, and he doesn't actually get killed either. In fact, nobody dies. One guy gets injured. Everyone's fine, though. The guy uses violence to get attention, not to actually hurt anyone intentionally. So it's a little better in that way. Instead of just like, I'm gonna murder every one of you terrorists so bad. Well, but you know, it's kind of different sides of the political spectrum. Angry at terrorists, angry at corporate businessmen. You want a power fantasy over them? You want to show them who's boss? Well, you watch either one of these. If you're mad at corporate businessmen, you watch this movie to see a little guy take him down by himself using nothing but ingenuity. And of course, complete farce. The whole plot. I mean, none of the stuff that they portrayed would have ever happened. There's no way that they would actually get into some of those situations where they're walking down the street with a bomb vest over to the CEO's office. It's dumb, but it's a power fantasy. It's not meant to be wholly realistic. It's meant to make you feel good. You're supposed to emulate through that guy, because some people get frustrated with evil corporate businessmen. So, you get a very, like, stereotypical evil businessman, and you take him down a peg or two, just like in London Has Fallen, get a very stereotypical evil terrorist, and take him down a peg or two until he's dead. But, that's pretty much it. You want to see a corporate businessman taken down peg or two, and don't actually want to go out and murder someone, which is nice. I don't like people murdering anyone. Then maybe watch this movie and you'll feel better afterwards. Just don't go hurting anyone. It's not a good idea. So, yeah. Honestly, I wish they'd make, like, a movie... They made they seem to make like a lot of power fantasies about taking down corporate businessmen or taking down terrorists and stuff like that. I wish they would do one for taking down like a really corrupt politician, like some sort of Frank Underwood type, you know, somebody who's just like really despicable on the inside. I want to see someone like that taken down a peg or two in the movie. That'd be nice. But you know, not murdered. The thing I like about this movie is that the evil corporate CEO is humiliated and is probably going to face criminal charges but is not brutally murdered. I wish that's what happened in Lyndon Has Fallen. Humiliated, tried, facing time for his crimes instead of taking the law into your own hands and blowing his fucking head off. It's satisfying, sure, but is it right? Hey, who cares? He's just a movie character, but still. Anyway. Yeah, it was reasonably well constructed. A little dull at the beginning, but I think that's just mostly because it's, well, the premise is it's a show that talks about, like, the stock market. So that is not an interesting subject for most people. You should know the basics. Basics being, don't base huge $60,000 investments on some dude's cheesy TV show. For one thing, that yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun. Enjoyed it the same way. Well, not the same way as London Has Fallen. This is a lot less disturbing than London Has Fallen, I can assure you. I enjoyed the power fantasy aspect of it, though. I don't know. It's nice. It's nice to imagine bad people being taken down by a little guy, you know? David and Goliath type thing. It's nice. Nice to think about. So, yeah. Until next time, I'm Glenn Dyer, and you have been watching A Dire Situation.